We're so glad that you could join us today because, as always, we have a very special guest. Our special guest today is Maureen Gerrity, and she is a pastel artist, and she was one of the people who coordinated the member show for the Pastel Society of Southwest Florida that just happens to be in the galleries here at the Marco Island Center for the Arts. Hello, Maureen. How are you?
Hi there, Hyla. I'm very good. How about yourself?
I'm good. Now, Maureen, can you tell our friends a little bit about this exhibition and how many artists are represented, what went into putting it together, and what the experience was like for you putting this together?
Oh, okay, sure. Well, first of all, the experience of working with you all in that gallery was wonderful. I have to say that there was a lot of helpful people around, so we appreciated that. The Southwest Florida Pastel Society is a group of about 100 members, people who primarily work in pastel, but some of them, work in other mediums. And it's a very vibrant group. We meet once a month. We have a program. Often they'll bring in a well-known artist to do workshops 2-3 times a year. So it's well worth joining because there's a lot of educational opportunities. This exhibition that we have currently at the Marco Gallery is the member show for the Southwest Florida Pastel Society. We do this 2 times a year. One is sort of a small works show that we do in Naples. And then this member show, which is for larger pieces or it has less restriction, is rotates. We go to different galleries around the 3-county area, Charlotte, Collier, and Lee. And we have about, I'd say, 22 artists represented there that brought in paintings, and there are 92 works of art in there, I believe.
It is a very robust exhibition. It really is.
It's very nice, and we are very worried because it came so fast on the heels of the holidays that we were worried people would be able to get things together and get them to receiving. But they did, and they brought beautiful work. And the way that it's arranged is very nice. And your gallery team helped us with this. And there's a lot of different subject matter. There's many buildings, and there's water scenes and still lives. And so they really helped to arrange it in a nice way so that you can walk through the exhibition and see a nice collection of beautiful pastel work.
Well, the scope and the breadth of what is covered in the exhibition and the content is really remarkable to see all the things that have inspired this group of artists, and it is just a beautiful exhibition. And remembering we are an art center, not a museum, so I believe all of the work is for sale. So we invite people to peruse, but if you find something that strikes your fancy, to purchase, and we'll be there to help you. Now, Maureen, I know, being an artist, you are also an art educator because you teach here at the Marco Island Center for the Arts. Tell me a little bit about why pastel and what you like about teaching. Why choose this medium? How did you end up choosing this? And what do you like about sharing what you know with others?
Oh, okay. Well, I really appreciate the opportunity to teach at the Marco Island Center for the Arts. I really started out with pastel young. When I was probably 13 or 14, someone gifted me some pastels. And it was just, for me, color has always been a very stimulating thing. And the tactile nature of pastel is so engaging. It's kind of between drawing and painting, and it's just a really addicting thing. So I really went on. I tried lots of other mediums, and when I really focused back on it was when I had small children. I realized that I could walk away from it, and I didn't have to wash any paints. I could have it in a room, shut the door, and I didn't have to worry that the paint was going to dry on the brushes or anything, and it would just be there for me when I went back. So when you hear some children screaming in the background, you have to go find out what's going on. So it was a nice medium in that respect. But I really do just love the just the way it feels and the way it moves across the paper, and the vibrancy of it is really nice. It's the same pigment as oil paint, but it's in a different binder, and it allows the light to really reflect off the crystals that are in the pastel. So you can get some really vibrant colors that aren't available in many other mediums. I just love it.
Well, that is certainly evidenced in the artwork that we see in the gallery right now, and it's quite, I didn't realize that about the makeup of pastels, and we seeing the work that's been created. I would encourage people out there, if you're interested in a class, to try Maureen's class, to wrap your fingers around some pastels. What do you focus on when you're teaching, Maureen?
I really like to focus on a couple of things. I like to teach people that, drawing is really seeing. You have to look at what you're trying to draw, and because we tend to make it up on our own. So learning how to look at things and how to evaluate them, to transfer them onto your palette or to your work surface. And the other thing I like to tell people is hey, it's not a big deal. You're here to enjoy yourself, to learn something, and being creative is very calming, soothing, and it's very good for these crazy, anxious times we're in. So it's just good for you.
I could not agree with you more. I think that's a wonderful way of expressing that. Now, just how long have you been working as an artist? You said you started with pastels very young, but
of course, I majored in art as a college student, and of course you get that message that you can't make money at that. So I did end up going on to become a physician assistant, and I did that for 35 years. I worked in healthcare, but I always did work on the side. I did as much as I could in the art world and tried to keep that going all through that career. So, but when I retired about 5 years ago, I was able to focus more on this and get more involved and join the plein air group that we have with the Pastel Society. So it's a group that meets outdoors once a week to paint, and there's several plein air pieces in that show. So that's a real valuable thing to get catch a little glimpse of time that somebody did out in the world. So
that's fabulous. I didn't realize that with, I certainly know that our oil painters and those who are working in watercolor are frequently out with a plein air group. I didn't realize that there are people working in pastels also. And as you said, your material is, to some extent, a little more portable than having to take paints and brushes and things like that, and palette knives. And basically, what kind of paper are you using when you're working in pastel? Or are there a variety?
Oh, there's a lot of different papers, and I've tried a lot of different things. And the one that I really like to use is called UArt paper. And it's a sanded paper, so you run your fingers across it, it feels like sandpaper. And it will take, I'd say, 5 coats of pastel. You could go over 5 times with pastel before the pastel starts to come off. If you choose a paper with, and they call that tooth when the paper is that rough. And if you use something like a Canson paper, it will only take a couple passes. So you can only go so far on those kind of papers. And the idea is to build up layers and to put your lights on last. And that's kind of why that paper is valuable. There's a couple others that are nice. Pastel Premier is a nice paper, and Pastel Mad is also another good paper. And usually you can get anything you need at Dakota Art Pastel, and it's online, or Dick Blick, or.
So you're looking at paper and you're looking at your pastels. Do you need anything else to start creating artwork with pastels? Am I missing anything? Or is that it?
You probably need a little eraser, but most artists have one of those around. And you can get started with, there's different kinds of pastels. There's hard pastels, there's medium, and there's soft. So you want to have a good assortment of those. And I do put that all in my in my materials list for the class. So you don't have to have everything, but it's good to have a little bit of each kind. But we will work with whatever you have.
I think it's great, and we are so grateful that you're here and continuing on in the tradition so that we can offer pastels along with oil painting and acrylic and watercolor and of course all of our classes and our play studio and sculpting and some of our specialty classes. So we are really glad that you are here with us. Now, you said you were a fine arts major in college and you continued on. Who or what has been a major influence for you as an artist?
Oh, okay. Well, as artists that I really like to emulate, I'd have to say Sargent and Soroya. And then as a working artist, there's an artist named Liz Haywood Sullivan, and she's a current pastel, well-known pastel artist. And I just love her work, and I really value her work ethic and her, the way she is willing to share information with people and try to help people get further along in their career. Really a wonderful artist.
That is lovely. Well, to my friends out there, I want to encourage you all to come down to 1010 Winterberry Drive on beautiful Marco Island and take some time to really explore this extraordinary art exhibition presented by the Pastel Society of Southwest Florida. Maureen, thank you for joining us today. I know I'll be seeing you here at the Art Center. And to my friends out there, you know that when you cross our threshold, you become part of our art family. And every day, in every way we can, we are always striving to be your art home. Goodbye, everybody.
Goodbye.